Hello teachers, my name is Melissa Willis, for those of you who don't know me. I am a flute and piano teacher, and I teach primarily, there goes my phone, sorry about that, I teach primarily online, and I just wanted to jump on here quick and offer some calm, some encouragement, some inspiration to those of you who've kind of suddenly been propelled into this online teaching format. So I know there's been just an abundance of wonderful information from so many generous teachers about how to set up an online studio, some quick start guides and things. So I don't really want to talk about setup or show you too many physical things. My setup is very simple anyway, so there are plenty of teachers who have more expertise. But what I really wanted to do, like I said, is just offer some encouragement, some inspiration and perspective of what it felt like to teach online for the first time compared to what it does now 3 years later, compared to what it was like teaching in person. Just to give you a little bit, like I said, just a little bit of encouragement and maybe a little bit of sort of a can-do attitude that this can be a really great educational, functional and fun way to teach students. So the reason that I'm teaching online is that, and I don't think I said this, I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but is that we made a move from Indianapolis to Maryland, and rather than rebuild an entire studio, I ended up bringing most of my studio here with me, teaching remotely. So I had 30 to 40 students, and these were students that I had been teaching 4, 5, and 6 years. When I left to Indianapolis, so I knew the families really well, I knew the students really well, we had a great working relationship. And then I moved here, and they all agreed to stay with me, which is really wonderful. But I still remember, even though we all knew each other well, and we had this great teacher-student family relationship, when I first had that first week of online teaching where I was doing, 35 students, a full week of teaching, but never seeing anyone in person, it felt so strange. But I rolled with it, right? But I just wanted to let you know that when you first teach online, if your first lessons don't go very well, that's okay. Sometimes they don't. I mean, for me, it was a week of ups and downs. So, there might be a lesson that went really well, and then there was a lesson that didn't go so well. And then the next lesson would go well, and then there were some that were so-so. But the second week was so much easier. It was very much like, if you think of, when you think back to college days where you're taking all these classes and you're learning how to teach, but you don't actually really, learn to teach until you teach, right? And so online teaching, you can read about it, you can study about it, you can get all of this information, but the best way to learn how to teach online is just to teach online. And just like we teach our students with learning an instrument, sometimes the best way to learn to do things online is to do it and make some mistakes, have things that don't work, and then you learn from those along the way, and you kind of troubleshoot and learn to fix things. So there's a lot to be learned in the process of just doing. So I would really encourage you, once you have some basic setup information, just jump in, and don't be concerned if things don't go perfectly. They're not going to go perfectly. And that's okay. So there's definitely a learning curve for the teacher, and there's also a learning curve for the families and for their students. I mean, it feels really different to them too, but you're in this together. This is really a team effort. And like I said, it can be really rewarding. It just adds a whole bunch more tools to your tool bag is really what it does. So now you have options to teach in person and online at the end of all of this, correct? So yeah, I just wanted to offer that bit of inspiration that as each week things get a little bit easier, you sort of find your new normal. As a matter of fact, I sort of have the flip happen to me. So I've been teaching only online for over 3 years now, and just recently I had 2 in-person students that have joined my studio, and it felt really strange to teach them in person, which was kind of hysterical because that's what I used to do all the time. But I had to again remember, it's not so much remembering how to teach, it's just remembering the routines. Like I couldn't find things. I had everything set up in my studio to teach online, and then when a student would come to my studio, I'd have to move things around. It felt really different, just even knowing that they had a lesson notebook that I wrote assignment sheets in felt very different because I was so used to emailing things to students with online teaching. So, so, you know, even though I taught in person all those years, then doing 3 years of online and then going to in-person, that felt really different. So I sort of had to tweak my system there. And now, not surprisingly, those local in-person students that I have now have moved to online lessons per my request. And I just did one of those lessons today. And again, it was kind of, there was just a little teeter to try to get used to that new feeling. And so part of it's just getting used to routine. Or I should say it's changing routine and then finding that new routine and finding that new normal. So just be kind to yourself. Let students know just to be patient and to be kind with themselves as you get used to this new format. But really, we are so fortunate to have all this technology available to us, because I can't imagine where we would all be otherwise as far as teaching with all that's going on. So I hope that's helpful to you. Feel free to drop me notes with any questions, whichever sort of social media place you're seeing this. I'd be happy to try to help and offer any insight to you along the way to be helpful. So happy teaching, good luck, and just like I said, be kind, be patient, and enjoy that learning process that you're about to embark on. So take care. Bye-bye.